Manager of Communications and Human Dimensions for the Council. What we took today to do was to put something out there. We know a lot of people are going to be confined to their homes for the next couple of weeks. And we wanted to have a conversation with those individuals, and maybe we'll do this again. We know that it can be difficult going from a work environment straight into seclusion for a couple of weeks. So we want to use this time to kick it off on the right foot. We've pulled together some resources to talk about as an organization to take advantage of this time and how to maybe, what we've seen some examples of how people are doing it well. We totally want you to share your ideas and thoughts and tips here. And then we have some resources as an individual too, because we know, workloads are going to be different. So we pulled together a couple of different points and opportunities maybe we thought you'd find interesting. So this is a resource for y'all. This is interactive. So if you saw, what we're going to try to do is have you guys raise your hands if you can and try to manage a conversation. So if you look in the top of your screen, you should be able to raise your hand. It's like a little icon with it says set status. So if you want to chat, raise your hand there or type in the, yep, JJ just raised his hand. So type it in the box if you can't do it. There you go, Scott Lavin. Everyone's got it now. Okay, good. That's what we're going for here. So we have a couple pod questions too that we'll put out there, and then we can share that information afterwards, like a poll, so you can type some things in. So pretty basic. We are recording it, just so you know. We're just going to put it on the YouTube channel for something for people to listen to afterwards too. So again, this is informal, taking advantage of the opportunity to catch up with some people, share some tips and tricks, and just try to have some success in the next couple weeks, okay? So with that said, why don't we kick it off as an example? Everyone is introducing themselves in the right-hand chat box, but we'll start out on the organization opportunities and just kind of talk about COVID-19 straight up and how agencies are handling it. We'll do this topic by topic, and then if you guys have some tips and tricks or comments, raise your hand, type them in the box, and that's how we'll go. All right? Cool. Okay, so first off, as an organization, we're interested as agencies or organizations have changed plans. We've seen about a lot of announcements. A great resource to follow along has been the Outdoor Wire. We'll grab a link for you if you haven't seen that on how to subscribe and follow and get the latest updates. I'll grab that for you guys while we're talking. But in addition, some agencies have had to change plans. And we've seen people do this. For instance, I'm in PA, so you probably know that by now, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Game Commission, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, and then as they continue to look across, one of the common things that they've done is specifically post all of their links in one spot that it's easy for people to find. So all of these press releases you see going out there, each agency is keeping a landing page of where they are. And so it looks like the first link that I'm going to post here as an example. To check that out, you can see exactly where they're having posting their content and everything. They're communicating it well. You can see right on the top of the page right there. So a place where your customers, your constituents can go and find the information is really important. Another example is that they've been using the same language in the coronavirus, like ads and publications throughout all their communication channels. Something that's really difficult right now because it's evolving so quickly is keeping the same consistent message there. So if you look at the agencies, it's not everyone's perfect. It's going to be a challenge, but it's definitely something to focus on. You can definitely Google some of these topics, and we'll give you communication tips in either crisis or emergency management. There's some great resources out there, so that's worth a quick Google. And they just keep, on Pennsylvania site, they're just keeping a list of all the updates in one place and keeping it consistent across the board. Based on everyone I've been texting with and calling and just interacting with these last couple of days, they constantly are monitoring headlines. If you check out CDC's website's a great one, and we'll give you some links down below in a minute here. That's a great resource. Your state's Department of Health has been another great resource. If you're in the large metropolitan area, definitely check out your county, or like New York City has a bunch of content coming out too. So depending on where you are, check out those those resources too, because those are the individuals that are keeping the most up-to-date content there. So keep yourselves informed and just try to maintain a good cadence of clear, consistent communication throughout all of this. We also have seen a different approach from a lot of our partners, and I want to put this YouTube link up here for y'all because this is an example of how one of our partners is taking advantage of the opportunity and putting the message out there that, you know, this is tough times, but it does have some opportunity, and you can try to figure out what to do, remain calm, remember who you are, what you do, and continue to fish, promote fishing, and take advantage of our favorite pastime that's given so much to all of us. So there's a link to that video if you want to check it out. Other partner organizations like TRCP, the whole way, have been putting content out there. They're going to Facebook Live, Instagram Live, whatever it might be. So check out those resources and just remember that it is stressful, and during this time, you know, keeping a little bit of a positive attitude could be helpful for everyone involved. So on that first kind of example of communication, clear communication, has anyone had any experiences or any tips or tricks that's worked well for them? You can either raise your hand and bring it up and talk, or you can post it in the chat box. Okay. Hey, Scott, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
So you manage a team in Arizona, right?
I do.
How are you working on keeping the message consistent across all the employees?
So you guys probably heard we had to cancel our expo, and a lot of things of any kind of scale, or if you're a state agency, have to partner with the governor's office. So our leadership team has daily calls with the governor's office, and then it trickles down, and things change almost daily, as you can imagine. My team has been really amazing through this. A couple of them, I have 2 employees who have, you know, they're semi-asthmatic. That puts them in kind of a at-risk demographic. So they're telecommuting, and they're taking great pride in the volume of work they're producing while not in the office. So we're really blessed that we've got some high integrity here. So, you know, just I think as leaders, we've got to be really transparent. We've got to be supportive and let our employees manage their families through this. It's the 21st century. We got to, you know, I've lived through some things, you know, in the 90s and in the late 80s where we didn't have this level of technology, and continuity of business could not survive. So we can afford to support their concerns and allow them the time to handle their family and still be productive, and it's working out pretty good for our team. Now, as far as our constituents, you know, our partners are, you know, in the nonprofit community, they're financially at risk through this. This is their fundraising season, their banquet season, so this is going to affect our ability to support each other going into next year. Some of them have been reticent to, you know, on some of the events that we've canceled, but in Arizona, we're now at the guidance of 10 and below, so that pretty much eliminates anything but a very small hunter ed class. So we're trying to work through that as best we can, but just over communication and patience with each other that things are going to change.
Definitely. Those are really great points. JJ, if you're willing, I know you work with a lot of partner chapters and everything. What's Mule Deer's approach been lately?
To be honest, we've been struggling just to get an announcement out of where we stood. Obviously, as each state has been different on what its response has been. We had some states that we had to quickly respond to and start canceling events. Some states have drug out a little longer, so it's just as recent as this morning that we finally put out an organizational-wide communication on this topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of our NGOs today and tomorrow will be the other ones coming out. I know events, I've seen some events being posted from like our partners like at the state level that say we will host the events depending on the recommendations. So like some of our fundraisers, because if there is a chance, we're talking like probably April or May, nothing, you know, in March for sure. They're saying we're planning on it, check back, and we'll keep this website updated. Have you guys, and any other nonprofit here too, have you guys like had to create any resources for your chapter managers or thinking about it? Because that's probably hard to roll out like overnight.
I'll say that
Okay.
one's a
I
little
think
outside my scope.
yeah, I can believe it. I can totally believe it. There's comm departments, too, that are working overtime right now. I know that for sure. I did find some resources. I saw it when I was scrolling through some different websites preparing for this. I'll find it. It's like a toolkit that I think it was for Archery Wire put it out. Toolkit to help your organization respond. I know industry, and I don't think we have any industry partners on right now. Industry is facing some different challenges, definitely for sure, with closures and everything. So we'll find some resources for you to keep that there too. And Scott, you had a great point. Oh, there you go, positive coaching allowance on dealing with disappointment and canceling events for participants and parents. Thank you, JSW. We appreciate that. We'll find some resources too, just like that, and maybe circle them around after the call, just to highlight it and give you guys some evolving resources to refer to. I know we talked a lot about this because we were at the North American meeting last week. A lot of leadership was, and a lot of our key partners were gathered. And we realized as it was going forward that this is a pretty serious topic that we want to handle with great care. But given our industry, there might be some opportunity to encourage people to get outdoors, to relieve stress, breathe some fresh air for sure. And we're coming up on turkey season and fishing season. So has any organization, and Kristen, can you bring up the Tennessee example, the Tennessee ad? Yeah, working from home, sneak out, find a bank, and cast a line. Don't forget your fishing license. It's an opportunity to promote it. We know that, agencies are cautious with it for sure, but yeah, Jay-Wiz is typing perfect. Have you guys done anything like this? Has it been challenging? Do you see some opportunity here? Any thoughts there?
Samantha?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Scott. So our range, so Ben Avery Shooting Facility, our ranges are up considerably. So you're out on the firing line. You're in a group less than 10. Our last couple days have been like as if they were weekend days. So our business is up when it comes to that. We're looking at launching some promotions to motivate people to get outdoors because being outdoors is social distancing. So you're right. There's some great opportunity there. I would recommend that anybody who has a shooting range, obviously you can't gather there, but there are ways to disseminate information and engage the public with signage and or resources like we're doing right now to take advantage of their participation. My friends in the firearms industry, guns are getting cleaned out and ammunition is getting cleaned out, and it seems like the public is naturally gravitating back to the outdoors. This could be a big win for all of us.
Yeah, it's a silver lining for sure. CJ, you had your hand raised. What's up?
Yeah, I'm just curious what your response is. Obviously, it sounds like your hand out there in Arizona are handling it a lot different. I know I saw the state of Illinois has shut down all of their public, any DNR-owned property. So anything that's a publicly owned resource is now in shutdown as well. So I'm just curious if you see that expanding to other states, or if that's something that is just really isolated and regionalized there in Illinois.
I've seen different responses across the board. I know a lot of people are talking about this exactly. Some states have closed down, there's no toilets. They're letting the public know there's no toilets available, but they can show up. Abby C. from Las Vegas says they're all closed in Nevada. I think it might be a level of how many people you're engaging too, right, and where your population centers are. So, and if depending on other federal and state regulations in place at that time, it's definitely a evolving situation and a case-by-case situation too. It looks like Jennifer's sending out some links here. Jennifer's a marketing coordinator or the chief of the division. She's really high up in Tennessee on the communications side of it. And Jennifer, if you're here, you're sending out a lot of examples here. Can you just are you on the call or are you just connected remotely? Okay, she's connected remotely, it sounds like, or her mute button's on. Shutdown programs the BLM has. And Eddie, I see your hand is raised. What's up?
Hey, Sam. Yeah. It's a weird spot for us to be in. I mean, on one hand, a lot of things that we're working on, free fishing day event coming up in June. We were going to launch a Refer a Friend program. All that stuff is kind of in a holding pattern right now because, we don't know what to change, but encouraging people to go out with other people, I don't know how that sounds, So it's not as cut and dry, I guess, as other states. So I'm just still kind of waiting around to see where the chips fall with a lot of this stuff. But we are shifting resources to online. So Calcami is offering like free higher ed for, I guess, every state that uses Calcami. So that's something we're definitely promoting. But everything else, I'm not sure.
Okay. I know some agencies, and we can cover that too, like Pennsylvania Fish and Boat, rather than completely not stocking, because the health of the workers is just as important, and people are trying to keep their employees considered as well as their constituents. So what Fish and Boat did, Pennsylvania Fish and Boat, they consolidated their stocking schedule. And maybe some of the other agencies are doing this too. And they used to have 2 different openers for the season. They just made it all one across the board and adjusted the schedule. They've gotten communication out. I'm hearing from friends and family in PA that, people were aware of this, and they seem to be thankful for still some time to get out and, a little bit of stress relief. So it's definitely a case-by-case situation, like you're saying, and I think there's a word.
Yeah, and I think telling people that the outdoors is open is a good message, Get outside if you can. We want to make sure that because we are seeing social media, people are being like, hey, our fishing, can we still fish? Is this happening? Is that? So there's a lot of misinformation, so hopefully we get in front of that stuff soon.
For sure. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge too. Definitely a great point on the communication side. Cool. Jennifer Wisniewski, what's up? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, I'm here now. Yeah. So we've had so there's tons of dead air now on TV and radio with the absence of sports, and we've had some folks reach out to us and ask for content. So we're getting a lot of free radio ads and TV and spots in where sports pages usually are, and we're highlighting outdoor recreation and those things. And I bet any of you guys could proactively send out any of these positive outdoor messages for your media list and get a lot of play right now.
That's awesome. It seems like you've been pretty aggressive too in keeping the content out there. I mean, you even had memes come across, so that's pretty cool. Seems like your whole shop is on this. Do you have like a plan, a communication plan, or are you guys just responding each day?
Oh God, no! I don't have a plan. I just do things, right?
That's awesome.
We are copying from other states. I've literally copied Oklahoma's email, but they're all closed. So I changed all the things that they said closed, and I said we're still open but have limited staff. We're making memes. We copied Utah. They did some like little infographics about hand washing, but we copied them and did like wash your hands like you just gutted a fish, or wash your hands like you just went deer hunting. So it's like a translation for hunters and anglers for what to do in COVID-19 outbreak, that kind of thing. Not trying to make light of it, but just educating with some humor and trying to remain relevant and on people's minds.
Yeah, definitely. I think I received an email from every business I may have set foot in the last 5 years talking about how they're responding. Right. I have never unsubscribed at such a high rate. So, yeah, I think that's definitely the trend in external of our industry for sure. I just thought of something. We're having a lot of people reach out and maybe have some time down home. And I know there's a category through ACI, right, for strategic communications. Is that right, Jennifer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, it'll be out for next year, but I'm just going to put a link here in case, some people want to check out the categories or do some planning while they're at it. I know the awards, funny, I judged the awards last year, And one of the categories they judged was like response plans, and it was, Florida had some awesome examples of like how they responded to emergency situations because like hurricanes and everything like that. And so for me, it took a lesson that we need to have a plan, and we've been making plans and trying to jump on it, but keep that kind of consistency along. It's from that experience, that like judging that I learned that. So it's been great to have those resources and examples there too. So check this out if you want to see it. Kristen just shared a link. Kristen, on that note, do you want to chat about the different content you're going to be rolling out on the council's social media channels?
Sure. So today, during some of my, time at home, even though I work from home, things are vastly different for us too, because people aren't in their offices and they aren't communicating the same way that they would be if they were in their offices and with the same resources. So today, during some of my, not quite downtime, but maybe filler time, I created this list about the outdoor person's guide to quarantine, and I just started going down and thinking about everything that if I was stuck at home, what would I be doing if I weren't used to being stuck at home? So cleaning and oiling your firearms, waxing bowstrings, sharpened broadheads, just taking care of your hunting and target shooting equipment in general. Target shooting if you can do so on your own land or in a space that's still open. So there's some of that. While you're at it, clean out the things you don't use anymore, donate them to a new hunter. Brush up on your duck species ID. So I know Illinois Learn to Hunt has like a little quiz you can go through online that shows you different species and how to identify them, and then it goes through, you can actually test yourself. So that's pretty cool. There's just a lot of resources online, so I wanted to make sure that we highlight some of our partners. Scouting for hunting areas using OnX. You can learn to age deer on the hoof and by the teeth with some of the resources on QDMA. Cleaning out your tackle box. Probably smells in there. This is a good time to kind of get all that stuff together, especially with fishing. Good fishing season right around the corner, and nobody's telling us we can't fish, right? So we can do some of that stuff, go fishing, go turkey hunting, go shed hunting, go mushroom hunting, go kayaking, all the way to just general outdoor rec stuff like waterproofing your hiking boots. I do that every spring, and sometimes it gets away from me, so having this little reminder, it takes 5 minutes, but that's 5 minutes to do something that can make you feel productive when you're kind of struggling to do that. So I'm going to be putting these probably in shorter lists and hopefully making like little infographic background type things. And then these are going to go out on our social media. And Jen, yes, I will send you this list. And I can make it available to all y'all. So yeah, take hunter safety, take boater safety. Those are both online. Join the interactive hunting app, new recipes, learn skills, trail camera pictures. So some of these are things that you would definitely think about needing to do. Others are kind of, maybe you put them off to the side until you have time, and now you have time. So this is your reminder. And yes, I will share these. Thanks, everybody.
No, good stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool, Kristen, because has anyone, and Abby, you said this is good for all outdoors people, but online connection classes. Can anyone host a live, Facebook Live event to teach people how to tie flies? Is this possible? Or can we talk about how to sight your bow in? I'm thinking about Tim in Oregon, leading the way there. But I just read an article on how a winery is responding. They used to do like the word, the wine tasters. I can't say it. Tasting wine and everything. So they moved everything online overnight. And it's difficult, right? But as a small business, they need that. So they didn't really have a choice. They needed to be responsive. Calculating offering free hunter ed. I'm going to take my boater certification because I hope to be on the water this summer. So if we can do events and get creative and engage people, depending on how long this can last, it might be, we might have some time to plan some stuff out. Do some promotion of it and say, join us Facebook Live. We're going to talk about 10 things you can do right now. Use these lists and those resources and do that. Hangouts, there we go, classroom presentations. Abby, do you have a chance to chat? Okay, go ahead and speak up if you're on mute. Tell us what you're doing. What are you thinking on some of the Hangouts? Are they Google Hangouts? Interesting. Okay, so if you're trying to talk in, sorry we can't hear you. Okay, no problem. While we're waiting for her to speak up, we have a box here, Kristen, they added 5 new ones, and we'll post this to the R3 community as well so people can check it out. And we'll use this as a resource and keep evolving it as we go forward. So stay tuned for that. And while we're doing that, I wanted to post these resources. I know Kristen brought them up. I think, Scott, this is what you were looking for, the CDC resources. There's 2. So the council itself had to postpone, not cancel, postpone the R3 symposium. We put out all our communications. We had a communication plan trying to get the right message to everyone. And what we started using for the guidance and everything was the CDC's recommendations. They put out a strategic framework mid last week, and we've been using it and just checking back in to see what they recommend. This is how they've gone from 50 people per event to 10 people per event. And they have other stages as well, too. So there's one for businesses and employees. So for our government organizations, internal organizations and industry and NGOs, use that link. There's some great content there. But then also for organizations, that's a whole different field, right? You got to communicate to your members. So check out the organization recommendations. I definitely think it's going to be the place to go as time moves forward. And check with your local state organizations, as we mentioned, too. So, Addie, are you available or no? Okay, no problem. We'll catch you on the backside. Just raise your hand when you're here, because I want to hear about those ideas. Okay, so we've covered on the as an organization how to handle all this, clear communication, creating opportunities, strategic planning, and resources. We don't want to let this time go by, though, without kind of acknowledging that, for an employee, this is going to be challenging, too. I've gotten invitations to have lunch. I know Tanaya Besky put out a post, and she's doing Hangouts with people, just chatting and colleagues over lunch or something to keep that, communication going. I think what we're seeing is a lot of people trying to interact with each other because the idea of being told you have to isolate yourself for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks is heavy. So people are reaching out like no other. Definitely remember that this is a trying time, so clear communication is going to be helpful. I really like this link that Kristen has up here. I'm going to minimize this real quick, this poll. If you know Brad Luttrell, he manages Go Wild. He's a partner in that organization and started it up. He put out a great list of ideas. He's worked remote for a very long time and, as he says, messed a lot of things up. So there's some great tips to think about. If you're new to working from home, think about, communication style. I know Kristen and I work remote all the time, and we try to be very, clear with each other and try to say, here's what I'm thinking, and trying to explain, our ideas more because she can't see my face when I'm talking, and I can't see what she's thinking. So keep that in mind as you're going forward. Schedules are always important. There's some great content here, so it's definitely worth a 3-minute read, I think you said. It's pretty cool. So has anyone else had any kind of skills or suggestions on working together when working from home? Do you use any resources that you could recommend? I'm sorry, I closed that. Okay, so one of our go-tos is a webinar. We use Adobe Connect all the time. That's what you're on right now. We screen share, we doodle, we do everything here, and it helps a lot. The Google platform has a ton of options. I know some states are on Google, and they're much light years ahead of us, but check out the Google platforms and see what you can do there. Track changes in documents is definitely something we've been working on, and Google and others has helped to kind of increase that communication. We're going to start doing FaceTime. on our work phones. We have iPhones, and there's other options out there, but seeing each other's faces is important to us, especially in the coming weeks. So we're going to start doing as much as we can face-to-face. We're also looking at our workload and how we're going to prioritize this. Given that, our national event that we would be in the heat of planning right now is delayed 6 months. What does that mean? Well, not 6 months, I guess 3 months. But still, what does that mean? How do we respond? What do we need to do right now? So we've been having calls and trying to touch base with each other and writing plans, keeping communication clear and concise again on what we're going to do about it. And so we are using some of this time for our strategic planning, getting on there and just talking about the future. It's an uplifting activity to generate some new ideas, but it's a way to have some interaction with staff when maybe you don't always have it during the day. So that's just one example of how the council is doing it. We also have some resources we wanted to share with you. I'll grab our YouTube channel. If you have some downtime, we're going to be rolling out content on the R3 community for the YouTube channel. We're digging out some of our old R3 podcasts. We'll probably do some more live events like this as well too, just to host people. I did post a link. There's 3 webinars coming up. I guess today was one. There's still 3. There's one on March 25th, next week, talking about with Brittany Waldeman from Passing On Outdoor Mentors. You can join us at 2 o'clock there. I think at 4 o'clock Eastern that same day, there's also a webinar connecting health and outdoor rec. Eric Dinger commented on it when I made that post. It's definitely a good one too. And I'll bring all these resources up to the post while we're talking. And then RBFS is hosting a webinar, I believe, on the 30th. You can find all of these in our events tab. Check it out. And here's the link for the post we made. So check those out. Thank you, Kristen. The R3 webinar is the 25th. RBFS is the 31st. So you have some events to tune into. The resources for our YouTube channel, I'm grabbing that, our webinar list. Keep in mind, if you have some partners that have some downtime, we do have a series of videos to help people learn what R3 is. You can check those out and just follow along with them step by step, and we have some guides too. So we'll help you with that as well. And then another idea we wanted to share with you was that there are a lot of funding opportunities right now available. I just saw that Yamaha Outdoor Access grants are available through the summer or through May. You could apply for those. ACI has a travel scholarship available for July. NSSF has some grants open too. So let me grab all these. I'll be posting these for y'all. Here's the R3 webinars. Has anyone taken any advantage of any of these so far? Any of the webinars, any other ideas out there that you could share to kind of help manage your workday as you move forward? All right. Can I call on you, Scott?
Call me for what?
How are you guys? You said some of your staff is working from home, but not everyone. Is that the case right now?
Correct.
And how are you managing kind of product progress updates? You said your senior leadership is having calls. Have you guys started going to a daily call or anything yet?
Sure. So a couple things. One, we have a weekly huddle every Tuesday morning. I had 3 employees telecommuting, so we did a conference call for those who called in, and that's honestly not the first time we've done that. We've had employees who were either traveling out of state or in other parts of Arizona that couldn't be in person for the huddle. And it's a weekly thing, so it's not a make or break, but we're just very relaxed. So we do that. We democratically decided whether or not we're going to have our monthly in-person branch meeting next Monday. Currently we are, because our work unit is under 10, so we'd be okay to do that. Anyone who knows me knows I travel out of state a lot. So all of my people are single employee programs that run the entire state of Arizona. So we drive all over the state almost as much as a game ranger. So we're already pretty accustomed to communicating by text, email, and phone informally. But you got to have confidence in your people and that trust that they're doing the right thing. So the only thing I've really kind of been hard on is just, the concern for consistent messaging with the governor's office. If you have a social media account, just kind of, let the department answer those questions. Even though you might think you're doing the right thing, leave your social media account to your own personal and political views, but not to department issues in this short time period. And we've had those briefs before. Anyone who's a state wildlife agency employee knows, there are times when you can't talk about predators, you can't talk about wolves or a certain ballot initiative. As state employees, we don't have a political opinion, and we have to play by those same rules right now.
I totally get it. And Abby, do you have any tips, or you want to talk about the Hangouts? You want to talk about the Hangouts, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean, in general, it's going to be a trying time, too, trying to keep that message like we talked about. I do know that there's been a lot of recommendations as well, communicating with your team if they have kids. I know, and that's a big one, we kind of missed over that. If kids are at home right now, your parents are basically playing teacher and trying to work with them. All the situations in states are different, but I have, one of our former colleagues, Cyrus Baird, took some pictures, baby's at the laptop with him while he's doing his work because daycare is closed. So as we go forward, just keep that in mind too. You're going to hear a dog in my background. He's always there, but I can't take him out as often, so he's a little bit more like rambunctious. He's sleeping now. But babies, lunch timers, that's why I said, I think it was JJ earlier, your meal was ready. Totally, it's lunchtime right now. So just keep it in mind, flexibility is huge. And as we go forward, it's only going to be more challenging. So let's just keep that in mind and try to be flexible and positive. Sorry, Abby, that you couldn't call in. I feel bad. I do want to post this resource for the NSSF grant like we talked about. Here's a tip to work from home. Set goals with your supervisor. Report weekly on achievements and dilemmas, and help them remain accountable for everything. The comments got about, truly your communication and social media channels is definitely there too. And I will add in one more link for the Yamaha grants that are open. But, we're coming up on 40 minutes. Does anyone have any other topics or questions that we talked about that you might want to share with the group? Okay. Overall, is this something that we want to do again? Are you guys enjoying this? Or is it helpful? Thumbs up. Great.
No,
Mute your phone. Mute your phone. Okay, Scott, what's up?
I was just going to say, this was some good initiative, ladies. I appreciate you doing this. It'll catch on. I think it's a good idea, and I think you'll see the need ebb and flow as people's emotions and workloads ebb and flow. But I think it's a good idea. Thanks for doing it.
Absolutely. If there's topics y'all want us to cover, please let us know. Post it. Do whatever you need. And post it on the R3 community. Message us there. I'm going to put my email here, and I'll put Kristen's as well, so that we can keep the communication going. Wait, so was that reverberation from
Sounds
Abby?
like, yes, I think I finally got some of my audio going.
Yay! What's that?
This is Abby.
Tell us about the Hangout idea. Yeah.
All right, so I'll start with Hangouts. So Hangouts, we just barely got like Microsoft 365 for the office. So for some of our educational collaborations, because we're 8 hours away from each of our big cities, we started Google Drive. So yeah, so we started using Google Drive, and then as long as it's separated from all of our servers and stuff, IT was okay with us using that. And so when I started Trout in the Classroom this year with my teachers, I wanted to do 2 nights so that I didn't take up their whole Saturday. And so I started doing Hangouts, and I was able to screenshot the presentation just like we're doing here. And then also they could see me, so I could actually like walk around either with my laptop or do it through the phone or a tablet and I even was able to do like a trout tank setup. So I was thinking with all this, I could even do like backyard bass and do just basic fishing with your kids in the front yard, stuff that hopefully Amazon will start delivering regular stuff after the frenzy is going on for supplies right now. And like even just go in my front yard and show them backyard bass and rod reel setup and everything like that. And then I was thinking even for Hunter Ed, but we ended up just going online for now because our draw's coming up. I was hoping that we could actually do more, but a lot of our older population is the one that are our volunteers that teach the classes, so it was just going to be too hard to turn that into it would have been too big of a learning situation in this short amount of time.
Yeah, totally, I get it. I know a lot of teachers, like college professors, with all the universities going straight to online like overnight, a lot of my friends teach wildlife courses. We were figuring out how to do labs online. You know what I mean? What can we do? Can we get fake data to run some of the modeling? Or can we have them identify local species and maybe participate in like an impromptu bird count? eBird was there. I mean, they're trying any kind of skill and stuff. There's a hustle here. So creativity like you're having is only just try something new and see what happens. I definitely have this idea or perspective, and maybe I'm the only one, but some of the stuff we're trying now might be the innovation that keeps us moving forward in the coming weeks, in the coming years. Online Hunter Ed maybe get picked up by more states. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity here. I'm really glad that you shared that. I'm glad that we got to call in to share that point too. So it's really cool that you're having that opportunity as well.
Yeah, I've learned that from my kids too. Like I don't know if you can hear my son yelling with his friends right now. They're all playing Minecraft, and they're building and being creative. So it's not too bad, and they do their homework still. Luckily, some of the teachers are still giving them work to do, and they're in there on the phone with their friends, and then playing the game too with other people across the country.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
huge.
not too bad right now, luckily, for the kids.
That's great. That's really good. Kristen, did you say Kakame's offering online Hunter Ed, or was that Scott?
I believe that was Scott.
Okay.
No, somebody else pointed that out.
I said that.
Or Eddie.
Who said that?
Yeah, that was me, Eddie, in Virginia. They offered it for us. They offered up to 1,000 courses for free. So I assume they would do that for any state that would want it. But.
Yeah, I know Game Commission did the same thing too. They have the Kakame platform. Pennsylvania, sorry. So check it out. Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity. I can't find it online, so it might be a mixed question for that. I mean, flexibility will be key as we move forward. This is a positive opportunity. I know it's going to get tight, but we can make it work. I do know that applications right now, some are not closed yet. Lance Cherry from New Mexico mentioned that business is booming. And so keep that in mind too. If you have any kind of communication you can put out about that, just so people can take last-minute advantages. I think we're going to see a lot of those people getting cooped up for the spring and summer months, getting ready to hit the field in the fall. At least we can hope. So think about that. Help them plan ahead maybe, and let's make the best of it. So this has been about a 45-minute conversation. I'm going to move that we probably close it off here. What Kristen and I will do is get all of these resources and try to just collect them all together in an email and post it on the R3 community. We'll see what kind of content we can get out in the next couple days for that. I just want to thank y'all for sitting in. Take care and enjoy time with your families and friends and try to get through this. We're here dealing with the same stuff, so just join us and keep in communication. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.